Today I want to talk about the power of disappearing, like the act of disappearing. Why, like the beauty in disappearing. And maybe this doesn't go for much people. I know there's some out there who just live for a crowd. You love being around people. Social butterflies. You need people around to feel like you're being your 100% self, or just like giving that energy or whatever the case may be. But you see, you see, one of my, like, how they say opposites attract. That's like me and the social butterflies. Me, I'm very, like, I'm like a shadow guy. Like, I sit in I'm a background player. What I call myself is, like, I say I'm a background player. I live in the shadows. I dwell in, like, the darkness of things, like the nighttime when there's nobody really outside or around. That's when it's my time to shine. Like, that's my realm. And then, like, the social butterflies, it's like I love watching someone just be so outgoing and just doing things that, even if it's not like I couldn't do, but seeing someone else doing it, it's like, wow, it's nice to see that people are really capable of just being such vibrant people and just not giving a fuck and just doing their shit. Honestly, like, it's beautiful for me. But you see, the thing is with me, you see, as I said, being like the background player and just sitting in the back, it's that I like disappearing, because it's like, how do you explain, you're there, but you're there, but you're barely there. But then when you leave, it's like that's when people notice, like, wait, they're gone. Like, they're gone. And then they think, like, wow, they were here and this is what they were doing, and now, like, they're gone. Like, but they were, like, you weren't even paying attention to see me there in the first place. And you see, that's what I love. I feel like every time when I disappear, I just come back to myself and I just give to myself and I just feed into my energy and I just become a better person on my own, and I just figure out and get more comfortable with myself every time. And I find that a luxury, just being there for myself and showing up for myself. That's why I can tell myself from now, one thing about me is I'm very intuitive, and it's like I have a lot of visions of what's to come, and it's just like a brief idea, but then when it comes to, like, to be, it's like, wow, like, I know I wasn't crazy anyways. But in my life, I already know there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna disappear, not from you guys, because the thing that I like about YouTube is that me being here, you guys watching me existing here, that's a choice. You're Because the thing is, I always say one motto that I, like, go by is that I only exist if you let me. So right now it's like you have to see me at work. That's because I need to work, right? But there's gonna be a point in my life where when I no longer have to work and I could just have YouTube as my thing, I'm gonna love that so much. Like, that's gonna feed that motto 100%. I'm not gonna exist at all unless you allow me to. Unless you come up here and click on one of these videos and choose to watch me. In real life, when I think about it, it gets me so excited because I know it's to come, and it's like I don't feel bad for doing it because, like they say, people only appreciate things once they're gone. And right now, clearly, I'm just a doormat, and nobody really give a fuck about me except for, like, a few people. But when I'm gone, it's why did you leave? Why did you this? Why did you that? Babes, I was right in front of you. I was right fucking in front of you, and you were looking right over my fucking head, and I'm already 6'3", 6 foot fucking two, and you're still looking over my head. That's crazy. I was right in front of you. I stayed for so long, sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, wanting you to just come to me or us come to each other. And what? Now that I'm leaving, all of a sudden it's, why are you leaving? Why this? Why that? Why do you only care now that it's gone? Why? You had me right there. I was right fucking there and I didn't mean shit. So now that I'm gone, all of a sudden I mean the world? No. Why do you think they say, like, oh, people only care when you die? It's the same fucking thing. Don't you realize All those people showing up to your funeral, they're only showing up because you're no longer there. Where were they when they were alive? Where were they when they could have actually spent time with you and created memories that they could cherish later on in their life? Where were they? They were not there, but now that you're dead, everyone is just grouped around you, and now all of a sudden everybody cares. Why do you guys act later rather than sooner? Like, I don't understand that. You can choose to be there and actually get to know someone and spend time with someone, but you just take that for granted because you tell yourself, well, they're going to be here tomorrow. And you need to understand tomorrow isn't always promised. So this little ideology in your head that they're always going to be there, no. No, that's why you have to make time for the people who's important to you, because you need to understand they're not always going to be there. And one thing for me is I know for certain is that when I disappear, I'm giving people a heads up. So, because you never know who's watching, right? That's a heads up. When I disappear, I don't want no one to be shocked. I don't want no one to be like, oh, why would he do that for? I can say throughout everything I'm doing and my YouTube and all that stuff, the only people who I had rooting for me was fucking Gracie fucking Jade and my sisters and my little brothers. That's the only people who I had, and my no, I'll give it to you, Zion, and my cousin too. That's the only names I can remember from the top of my dome. And Mikey. Is there anyone else? Zayn. Who else? Tazaya. Okay, there was a few. Okay, I'll give it to y'all. There's a few. But for the rest that I didn't name, fuck you. No, sorry, that's rude. Sorry, no. It's not fuck you. It's more like not fuck you, because like I'm not holding it against you, because like you do what you see fit. So I'm not forcing anyone to sit there rooting for me. I don't need that. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that it's when you go up, when you start elevating, when you're up here is when people start to give a fuck. But when you're down here, it's only a certain amount of people who are there. That's why those names I just named. Oh, when I tell you guys, I'll definitely give props where it's due. For surely, I'll definitely give back to who gave to me, for sure, 100%. But for those who didn't, when you want to show up when I start going up, no, there's nothing for you. There's nothing for you. There's nothing for you. You were not there to support me when I was down. You were there trying to keep me down. No, that's not. You don't deserve no props. You don't. And as much as I would like to keep some people around, no, that's not how it's gonna work. When I go up, honestly, there's no more going back down. There's no more. And I'm not holding grudge against none of these people, but at the end of the day, I will definitely hold people accountable to what they did and where they were when I needed them and where they weren't. So when I'm up and all of a sudden I see this name popping up, this name popping up, oh babes, I'm definitely gonna be asking, where were you when I was here and I needed someone there cheering for me? Where were you? Where were you when I needed a pat on the back? Where were you to tell me keep going when I felt unmotivated? Where? But now all of a sudden when I'm feeling good and you see me doing good, now you give a fuck again? No. Get that shit out of my face. That's why disappearing, it's a beauty in it. It is. Let people grieve the person that was there. Let them do it because you had them and you didn't give a fuck. So let that door hit you on the fucking way out. Hit them or me. I think them. Yeah. But I'm gonna be gone. And like Lana said, this is how to disappear.